Well, one of the most common questions new students have is how I promote in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. So there are 5 ranks in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. You have white, blue, purple, brown, and black. I think the most important promotion to talk about is blue because everything after that is built upon the foundation that you laid at blue belt. So there are 5 main factors I look at when promoting a student in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. To me, the first and most important one is knowledge. What do you know? At the core, I want the people who I promote to blue belt to have a very good working knowledge of proper distance management, self-defense, good takedowns, staying heavy on top, and then I think most important is getting out of bad positions and keeping yourself safe. I also think it goes without saying that a person who's ready for blue belt is taking all of those concepts and using them to get to positions where they can finish the fight with a submission. And a student who's ready for blue belt is actively applying these concepts during sparring. I think specifically it's important to see them doing that against people who are their size or bigger who are coming in for their first couple of classes. As the student moves toward purple, they're doing all the same things that the blue belt is doing, except now they're chaining techniques and concepts together into a really dangerous web. I think the lines between purple and brown, and even brown and black, tend to get a little bit hazy. I would like to think that one of my brown belts, if asked a question about self-defense, sport jiu-jitsu, rubber guard, leg locks, deep half, I would like to think that they're going to have an answer to a certain degree for any of those subjects and questions. Deep at the brown belt and the black belt level, I like to see my students apply a singular concept to a variety of positions. I mean, there's a reason that you'll hear black belts from the sidelines at tournaments yelling things like hips, hips. Because to the black belt, that really means something. They can take a concept like hips and they can apply it to guard passing, they can apply it to escapes, they can even apply it to submissions. The second thing I look at is mat time, and I break that down into 3 categories. So you've got your short-term mat time, you've got your long-term mat time, and then you've also got your consistency across those 2. So your short-term mat time is just the hours that you put in during the week, how many classes you come to, how many hours you're training, how often you're drilling, how often you're learning. You can take your short-term mat time and train 40 hours in a week, but you're probably going to be training with the same people over and over and over again. Now, while that's good for your mat time, and while that's good for your drills and your muscle memory, it's different than long-term mat time. So why is long-term mat time important? Well, over the course of a long period of time, you're going to train with a lot of different people. Big people, small people, technical people, strong people, flexible people. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna catalog all of those different types into your brain. And that's a thing that we call experience. The third thing I consider is character. When I talk about character, the first and most important subset of that, in my opinion, is your dedication. If I see a student who's really struggling with Brazilian Jiu Jitsu and they come Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, they get smashed every day, but they do the same thing again the next week, and the next week, and the next week. That says everything about their character. And I sort of drop this in as a trick point because if I consider you to be a person who does not have good character, you are not afforded an opportunity to train at my gym. My mats are crowded with good and hardworking people, and I don't have room in my gym for people who I don't consider to have good character. I mean, I'll admit, I've kicked people out of my gym for causing social friction, for being rude, for being inappropriate, and for not working hard. I've barred people from my gym for making too many intro class appointments and not showing up for them. I do this as a service to all the hardworking people I have at Hurricane. The fourth thing I look at is ability. Simply put, how well can you apply the concepts you've learned in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu to a live or a sparring setting? I want to see how sharp your drills look, who you're tapping out in the gym, and how you're doing if you're competing. At the end of the day, Brazilian Jiu Jitsu is a fighting martial art, and I need to see how well you can fight. So the 5th category ties the previous 4 together, and it's the most important to me. It is your undeniability. So what does that mean? We've talked about knowledge, mat time, character, and ability. And for me to promote you to your next appropriate rank, you need to be undeniable when I'm considering those 4 categories. So let's say I have a 65-year-old student who weighs 140 pounds and he's a white belt, and he's been training consistently for 4 years. Even though this person might not have the ability aspect when it comes to sparring, to me, this person is undeniable. Here's another example. 35-year-old student, average build, trains 7 days a week, and has some real functionality when it comes to sparring. Maybe this person's only been training for a year and a half, but they're insanely coachable, they listen to everything I say, and they soak up knowledge like a sponge. To me, this person is undeniable. So now let's flip it around a little bit. Let's say there's a student who wants to transfer to my school and train. This person is an NCAA Division I college wrestler, maybe a purple belt in Jiu Jitsu. They compete all the time, and in terms of ability, they are unstoppable. But let's say that when this person comes in, they're not coachable, they've got a bad attitude, they're hurting other students, and they're just causing some social disruption. On this list of points, character is my non-negotiable. I don't care how good this student is, I don't care how well they compete, they will not have a place at my school out of respect to all the other hardworking students that I have. Knowledge, mat time, character, ability, and being undeniable when considering those four.